loud in favor of mass deportation. I don't think that's reasonable, and I don't think it's good for this country. I also accept your challenge to do something. We did. With a vote of 68 in favor, 14 Republicans, we passed comprehensive immigration reform. House of Representatives refused to call it or any part of it. And now you're telling us, well, let's leave the situation as it is or deport everyone who's here. Those are not acceptable alternatives.
Neither is the president doing it on his own.
You know, sometimes I really hearken back to Michael Savage, and liberalism really is a mental disease, I think, sometimes. I really, really do. And I don't know, maybe David Horowitz would agree with me, founder of the David Horowitz Freedom Center, editor of FrontPage Magazine, and author of the Black Book of the American Left. Volume 3 is now out, The Great Betrayal. Hello, David.
Hi there, Steve. I think calling it a mental disease understates the problem, actually.
What would you call it?
Well, it's a utopian delusion that we can have a world that's fundamentally different than the one that human beings have inhabited for 3,000 years. And the result of believing that we can have countries without borders, that we can have, law and order without police. It's fantasy land, or that there can be equality between human beings who are very unequal. And the 20th century, and now part of the 21st, is littered with the corpses of the victims of that ideology. So treating it as a mental disease, I mean, that's kind of clever for a debate, but it really holds them harmless. They're just diseased people. They can't help it, but they can help it. It's a choice, and it's a very aggressive position. As you know, I don't approve of the term liberalism applied to leftists, but I understand your point.
But David, let's move on. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wrote a piece about the demonstrations in the streets over Ferguson.
Yeah, the left's war against justice and peace. Yes, the left's war against justice and peace.
The left's war against justice and against peace. That the left isn't interested in justice. It just wants its version of what's right to prevail. And when conservatives collude in using and legitimating leftist language, it hurts the cause. These aren't protests. These are attacks. What's going on here has nothing to do with the facts in either, or very little to do, I should say, with the facts in either case, certainly none at all in the Ferguson case. What it is the left's determination to destroy law enforcement. They want to handcuff the police. They want to hold black criminals innocent. And who do black criminals prey on but black people? The left is the worst nightmare of poor people and minorities in this country. The cities which are now war zones, like Chicago, have been controlled by Democrats and progressives for 50 to 100 years. Everything that's wrong in those inner cities, progressives are responsible for. So let's not call these riots and rebellions, which is what they are, protests, because they're not protesting anything. If they were, then it's like you see, when conservatives confront them on television, jaws drop because they're really not concerned at all with the facts of what happened in any of the cases. And that's because their eye is on the prize, which is handcuffing the police, and they're succeeding. They got Darren Wilson, a perfectly good police officer. His career is ruined. They have ruined the career probably of Daniel Pantalino. They're succeeding. Holder is going to go in, and he's going to, do the stop and frisk thing. De Blasio ended stop and frisk in New York. Holder is going to force the, well, first of all, he's going to strip, or going to attempt, I should say, to strip local grand juries of their authority. He's going to go in and undermine them. Then he's going to go in and say the police forces are racist, which they're not. The New York police force is majority made up of minority members. But he will say they're racist, and then he'll impose new rules that make it infinitely harder for police to catch the criminals who are preying mainly upon Black and Hispanic people in New York.
Absolutely. All the lives, not all, 90% of the lives or more that Rudy Giuliani and Mike Bloomberg's policies resulted in saving were that, and we're talking about thousands in their tenure, were minority lives. David, always good to talk to you, sir. I thank you very much. Have a great holiday.
All right, thanks.
All right, David Horowitz, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, an exclusive with the former U.S. Attorney General, Alberto Gonzales. We're going to get his take on everything that's been going on, the release of the the report by the committee and Dianne Feinstein's committee in the Senate. We'll get his reaction to that release. We'll get his reaction to what's included in it and what he believes actually occurred. But first, buying a home can be very stressful, of course. And did you know that now there are apps for that too? Oh yeah, that leaves me in the in the dust. There are specially designed apps to take the hassle out of home buying. So, for more information, let's go to your Max to Life moment, and we'll all get filled in on that.
House hunting shouldn't have to be a hassle. Instead of doing the things the old-fashioned way, why not put the smarts in your smartphone to work by downloading these apps?
First, every potential homebuyer needs Zillow. Zillow is the best app for comparing homes in the neighborhood where you want to live. Plus, it's got the Zestimate, which allows you to look at the estimated price of every home in that neighborhood. Then second, there's the Autodesk Home Styler. This app allows you to virtually see how furniture will look in that new home that you might buy. Third, you've got to have a mortgage calculator. There's several, such as from Quicken Loans, Trulia, or Bankrate.com.
Some other helpful apps are Redfin, HomeSnap, and Credit Karma. So whether you're a first-time homebuyer or you're just flipping through houses fast, take these apps for a test drive to help make the process as efficient and stress-free as possible.
President Obama approves of the budget passed by the House of Representatives. I'm Francesca Page, and this story tops your Newsmax Now update. The president says the bill approves funding to fight the Ebola virus at home and overseas. The legislation will also continue funding for Obamacare. Officials shut down airspace over London earlier today when technical problems sent 2 air traffic control centres offline. That problem has now been fixed, but several flights are still experiencing delays. And CIA Director John Brennan defends his agency after the release of the so-called Senate torture report. Brennan says the information gained using enhanced interrogation techniques was valuable. In a weekly address, Pope Francis said all of God's creatures can make it to heaven. He was reportedly comforting a young boy who had just lost his dog. That's your Newsmax Now update. More coming away in 30 minutes.